Welcome, welcome, you guys. Welcome to our color theory event. I'm Montana Elliott, and this is my girlfriend,
Stephanie Leonard.
Yay, Steph. And today we're talking to you about color theory. But before we get into it and tell you all the fun things, we want you to tag your beauty consultant, put your name in the or tell us where you're watching from. Make sure you tell us that we can see your name. You know, StreamYard's like super private. They don't want us like telling anybody. So fill out that little thing up top. Tag your beauty consultant so she knows that you are here. And yeah, Steph, take it away. Tell us what we're here for.
Well, you guys, and if you're watching the replay, this is great. We love that you're watching it. Take the time. We're gonna go through this really quick. But this is some pretty cool stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff where you're gonna be like, duh. Okay, like when you think about it. I know when I learned about it, I was like, well, duh. Okay, because we are digging back into, you know how like sometimes you look back at Montana at school and you're like, why did I even learn that? Like, who cares? Who cares?
Okay, here we are. Back to very hard.
I think we're digging to preschool or something. Yeah, and we're pulling out our color wheel, you guys. And so here's the thing. What's so cool is that when you use the color wheel, now, of course, let me stop for a second and say this. There's no right or wrong when it comes to makeup. Okay. Makeup, literally the reason why they call it artistry, like who's going to tell Pablo Picasso he's wrong, right? And so maybe you look like a hot mess, but you're an artist, even if you don't know what you're doing, and it's fine. Own it, sister. But if you really want to play up certain features, that's really what makeup's about, because, you know, we all have things that we don't like about our faces or our hands or our butt or all the things, right, girls? Okay, you don't have to tell us in the comments, but if you hear me and there's something that you're not in love with about yourself, tell us in the comments. Like, yep, that's me, because I think we all think we look at each other and we just think we all are, you know, nobody has flaws but us. But the reality is we do. And to be honest, the things I hate about my skin, Montana probably never notices, but I notice. And they like speak to me in the mirror. They're like talking at me. So it's really about feeling good in your own skin, because that's it. Okay. So here's the thing. When you want to, in the 90s, it was really on trend to match your eye makeup to your outfits. Now, some of you weren't there for the 90s. Some of us were. Remember, I used to wear silver metallic eyeliner. Man, that was really, I looked so tan when I did that too. All right. But we're not doing that right now. What the trend right now, and the trend for a little while now, has been to really draw the attention to your eyes. Okay. And I have a girlfriend who always said, like, you really want to play up your eyes because you want attention here, not here, here, not here.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
This is fun. So anyway, we're going to look at the color wheel. Now, if you're trying to accomplish making your eyes pop, okay? And you can also do this if you really want your outfit to pop, okay? The same thing kind of plays into it. So if you're wearing a teal dress and you really want the teal to be played up, you can use the same theory, okay? Or if you're wearing an orange dress, you can, even if your eyes aren't the colors that we're talking about, you can still use the same theory, but it's going to draw more of the attention to your outfit versus to your eyes. Do you guys get, is this making sense to everybody? I really hope so. Okay. Yeah. So the point is, you know, to draw attention to it, you really want to play it up. I mean, you wouldn't have a goal of getting to Chicago, or sorry, you would have a goal to like get more airline points and decide to drive to Chicago.
Right.
You would fly. And so that's what you want to do, is you really, if you have a goal for something, you want to play it up. So when you look at the color wheel and the colors are across from each other, okay, this is where the magic happens. This is why it's so much more basic than even preschool. So let's look at the full color wheel right here. So you guys, you can see with this color wheel, there's lots of different shades that play into it. And so right now, as we're making things pop, and we'll talk about neutralizing and hiding some things next. So right now it's kind of like wearing white. Like, none of us women wear white because everything looks bigger in white. We like to wear black pants because it looks smaller. So we're going to be playing around with how to then hide things right after this. So let's talk about making your eyes pop, and not like this, because that's awkward and scary.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. So if you look at the color wheel, Steph, you can put that up first real quick. Now, common eye colors, blue, green, brown. So we're going to really be focusing on that. Obviously, if you're hazel, you can slide to that more blue greenish mark. But essentially, like Stephanie said, you're going to be working across from the column. So the blues are across, orange is across the blue. If you have really green eyes, you've got more of the pinks and purples. Did I say blue? I meant green. Green, yeah. And then if you have the brown eyes, is sort of like the what do you call it? Like, that's like the holy grail of eye colors, because like you can wear everything. But and I have my son has green eyes, I have bluish green eyes, and one of my daughters has really brown eyes. And I told her, I was like, McKenna, I was like, you have the best eye color, because she doesn't really like that her eyes are brown. I said, but they're like such a dark brown, and you can literally wear any eye color and it makes your eyes pop. And she's like, okay, fine. So, remember that, like Stephanie said, we notice the things about ourselves that everyone else loves, even though we might not like it. So just to focus in on when you have a beauty bestie with us, we're going to set up a custom summer color look for you based on your eye color to give you that pop of eye color. So the browns, your look is biscotti, espresso, and rustic. So biscotti is like a pretty light color, but not shimmery. Espresso is a matte brown, and rustic is this brownish bronzy color, which is so beautiful. The blue eye color looks are Candlelight, Shiny Penny, and Cinnabar. Candlelight is just like kind of, it sounds like a creamy, shimmery color. Shiny Penny, obviously shimmery, like a penny. Copper color. And Cinnabar is a really deep matte brown. And then our green is Blossom, Dusty Rose, and Merlot. And I have my day look on for the green eyes. So I do have the Blossom up here, and then I have the Dusty Rose in my kind of in my crease, a little up on my brow. And then I have a deep brown eyeliner on, which is my favorite when I'm like a day look where I'm not going to wear a darker color, but I still want that pronounced color. So if you're like, okay, well, like, that's great, I don't even know what those colors are. Like, how do I do that? We've got something for you at the end. We've got a freebie for you. So make sure you stay on. And if you guys, we're not going to be addressing questions necessarily here, because we're trying not to make this like too long and drawn out, but put your questions in the comment, tag your beauty bestie, because she will help you customize even more this custom look that we have for you. So, Stephanie talked about how we're going to talk about neutralizing. That's next on the table. And I'll just say, I'm really excited personally to hear about this. When she was telling me, I was like, okay, I need more on this. And now I get it. So I got my pen ready. I'm taking my notes. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, so I guess if you guys see Montana looking down, she's taking notes. Well, and you guys, here's one of the cool things about Cinnabar too. Unless you're really looking for it, I think that's one of the things to realize is like, your beauty consultant's going to be able to know some of these things for you, so you don't have to think real hard. But Cinnabar really has an orange undertone, and that's why it's so great for blue eyes versus maybe like hazelnut. So even if you're a beauty consultant watching this and getting caught up on some training, I challenge you to take a little bit of hazelnut and a little bit of Cinnabar on the back of your hand and look at the difference between the two, because in a catalog, even on it's really easy to just see them both as browns. And even though they're different, they can seem very similar. And when you start playing around with it and you're looking for those undertones, you can really start to see, oh my gosh, there is orange in Cinnabar. Okay, so we talked about making everything pop. Now let's talk about making things go away. Are you guys ready for this? So, as you know, colors like, I always think of blue and orange, like the Denver Broncos, right? Like those football uniforms just pop. I mean, I don't even know football. They just pop. Christmas, red and green, pop next to each other, right? My high school colors were purple and gold. They pop. So that's why a lot of colors are used like that for mascots and things like that. Okay, but what happens when you mix Christmas colors together? When you mix red and green, it becomes like a brown. When you mix orange and blue, it becomes like a brown. When you mix yellow and purple, it becomes like a brown or more neutral. Okay? So what does that tell us? That tells us that we can use these colors individually to make things pop, but we can also use these colors to play down things that we don't like. So let's talk about starting with those Christmassy type colors. Okay? If you have some redness. Now, there are places that are commonly that show up that have redness. Maybe in your cheeks. Montana was telling me it's on her nose. Maybe there's a visitor unwelcome this week or next week or sometime on your face. So when you have that, or even just that readiness in your skin, here's a great tip for you. Now, your foundation shade probably or maybe is not a warm. I don't think that a warm undertone, which is a green, like olivey undertone, is super common, at least in this part of the world. How do you know you have a green undertone? Well, you like walk outside, the sun just blesses you, loves you, and you walk back inside and you're 2 shades darker. I mean, just went and got the mail. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'm being a little extreme, but here's the thing. So especially if you're really light, like our lighter foundations do not have any warms. So it might take a little bit of experimentation, which is why your beauty bestie is here for you as your beauty consultant. You might have to do some mixing. All right. But you can use our foundations, our 3D foundations to help with this. Now, our CC creams have 0 undertone color. Okay. That's why there's only 5 shades. The 3D has a bajillion colors because of these undertones. So for example, this was what you might do for this. So first and foremost, let's talk about this. When you put on your foundation all over, okay, because then you have to see what needs to be concealed. If you're putting concealer on and then foundation on, that is when things can get really thick and heavy. Mm-hmm. And then you have that total makeup look. Okay, so Montana, let's talk about your nose. Real-time training here, or real-time information. Okay, your skin color, your foundation shade right now is?
Beige N190.
Beige N190. So you guys, she's more of a neutral undertone, which is great. And so what Montana would do is she's going to put on her beige N190 all over her beautiful face. Okay. And then in looking at the catalog here and all of our foundations, guys, when I say there's a lot, right? Look at this is our one's normal dry, one's combo oily, like there's matte, luminous type thing. Okay. So the closest warm to her is 180. So it's like they're next door neighbors. One is not darker than the other, you guys, in this situation. Really, that's a whole nother training, a whole nother event we could do. But Montana, so what you would do in this case, because they're such close neighbors, you could probably just take a little bit of the 180 and put it on your nose because you have your foundation on all over already. Right. And then just tap that in. Mm-hmm. You're not going to use it like you would use a foundation all over. You're going to use it a little bit more like a concealer. Now, there's a difference between concealer and foundation. Concealer is a tackier. It's meant to just sit in one spot and not be spread all over. But we don't have green concealer, so that's why we're going to play with it this way. Now, if you're, let's say you are an Ivory 100, which is the lightest color we got. It's a cool 100, right? You're pink, and maybe you don't like how pink you are. And you're like, okay, the first W is 130, and that might be a little dark for you. Yeah. All right? A little more obvious in your porcelain white skin that there's green in there. So here's what I recommend for you. Again, you put your foundation on everywhere, and then you become, I don't know what you might know, but when I do this, I feel like a makeup artist. I'm like, because you guys, before we weren't makeup girls.
No.
We're still not really makeup girls.
We learned the tricks of the trade.
Yes. And then we could.
And after 17 years, I'm still learning. Like that's what we always say, school's never out for the pro. Like you can do this, you'll figure it out as you go.
And I'm constantly learning how to cut corners and do this even faster because I still wouldn't consider myself a super makeup girl. Okay. So this is a cheek brush that I have nearby. This clearly isn't even the right brush, but I would take so I put my foundation on all over, and then I would still take my 100 and put that on a little dab on the back of my hand. I'd take the
130, yeah.
130, a little dab on the back of my hand, and I would take the concealer brush, honestly, and mix them together and then touch it to wherever I wanted it neutralized and just tap it in. You're not brushing it in, but you're tapping it directly in to your skin. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a playing around with to see what your ratio is just based on that. Same thing with under eye circles. Sometimes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, sorry. Real time.
Yeah, pause.
Okay, so can you talk about the blemish thing really quickly? Because that's huge. And when you said that, I remembered I wanted to hear that too. So go ahead.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. So you would just, again, but you want to tap it onto
Right.
the blemish
Use your concealer brush.
with your concealer brush. Don't use your fingers. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Keep your concealer brush clean. Wash it, especially if you're using it on pimples.
Yeah.
Wash it like, I don't know, a lot. Like
We
every day.
wash ours every day with the brush cleaner and once a week with the Time Wise bar. And
Yeah.
it is a dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if, I mean, yeah. So the point is, same thing. So you're probably, so you just a little bit, or you might have to make a little bit of a ratio experiment. But Montana, it's the exact same thing. You just put some green, just throw some green in there. That's
Okay.
it. And that's going to change every single time. Every single time where there be red, use some green.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait to use this. And I'm like, I mean, I can wait, God. I don't really want it yet. But like when it's time, I'm going to be ready.
Dear God, do not send. I know it's kind of like our Skin Vigorate brush, and with the massage head, and I'm like, the next time I'm like so excited to get a sinus infection. No, I'm not. That is not what I mean. And thank God, since that brush came out, I still haven't really had a sinus infection. I used to get them chronically, and I don't get them so much anymore. But man, I was so excited about
Massaging. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's a whole nother day. Let's talk about underneath your eyes, because this is another place that women oftentimes are like, we're struggling. We're looking tired. You guys, that skin under your eye is only 3 layers. 7 here, 3 here. You're looking tired. You're looking tired. Now, underneath the eye, we're playing with different shades of coloring. Right? It's kind of like bruising. So because it's so thin and you're very rough. We can be rough on our eyes, even if we're like thinking we're not being rough on our eyes. So if your eyes underneath leans a little bit more purple, remember, we're going to lean a little bit more. We would put something a little bit more yellow. If it leans a little bit more blue, you would lean a little bit more orange. Mary Kay created an under eye corrector. It's in our concealer collection. It's got that thicker consistency like concealers. But in this case, it is really just tackier, which is good because this skin can be a little bit crepier, and you really want it to stay in place. Now, some people can put the under eye corrector on and it's fine, okay? But I've noticed with some of our lighter colored porcelain friends and some of our bronzer girlfriends, it's too contrasty. It's not really melting into the skin. And so you may need to you probably need to mix it with another concealer just so you still get that tackiness to apply. And again, okay, really important part. So my dark circle, which luckily you can't see it very well. Thank you, Mary Kay. But let's just say my dark circle ended right here. It's really important I'm not putting under eye corrector out here because that's when it's going to look more orange. Because it's not going to neutralize if I don't have that coloring there. Does this make sense? So you really just want to tap it directly only into exactly where you need it. And yes, the under eye corrector can go up into this area. It looks like I have to remind myself sometimes I have shadowing in here. Okay, so I have a little bit deeper side. So I have a lot of shadowing in there. Our light under eye corrector. So this isn't like the bruising, it's shadow. I'd have to like redo my whole face. Not doing it. Right? But there's light crystals in the under eye corrector, which is why you want to use that maybe instead of foundation or concealer, because not only does it stay in place, but it's got the light crystals, which means, in those shadowy areas, the light hits it, it reflects and doesn't look as shadowed or as ick. So anyway, you guys, really fun tips. Another really, really quick tip I'm going to tell you, putting the first thing and the last thing together, which is this. If you are someone who struggles a little bit more with darkness under eye, I'm going to challenge you to put on your eye makeup before.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Everything else. Our Chroma Fusion eyeshadows are unbelievable, high pigment, high powered, a little goes a long way, and there's not a lot of fallout. But fallout can happen. Sometimes there's user error.
Yeah,
we can be a little heavy-handed ourselves. And so the thing is that if you have all your foundation and your under eye corrector on and everything's there, and then you put on your eyeshadow, you can get that fallout in there, which goes back to just enhancing that, or it's again, everything you did so well is just, ooh. So it's better to just put on your eyeshadow, okay? Then you can put on some eye cream. Like, of course, hopefully you already used your eye cream, but you can put on a little eye cream and then gently wipe with a tissue
Yeah.
to make sure that there's nothing else under there and you've really cleaned it up. Because, I mean, the little bit that may have fallen anyway, just get it all gone. Just gently wipe it with a tissue and move on your merry little way. Put on your foundation then, and you won't have to worry about enhancing something that you're trying to hide.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. So many good tips, you guys. Steph, thank you so much for sharing this and bringing this as our event. I was so excited when we decided to do this. I'm like, okay, good. Okay, well, I got the eye color thing on lock, and she brought in the heat of all the great neutralizing and covering those dark circles and the redness. That was huge. So thank you so much. If you guys had any questions, make sure you put those in the comments. We're going to come back and answer those. Tag your beauty bestie. Tag Stephanie or I, if you whatever. We want to serve you. And so we always have a little freebie for you. So today we have a freebie for you, and it is your custom summer eye color look. So in the comments, tag your beauty bestie and tell her you want the freebie. And then you're also going to text her the secret word, which is big surprise, color. We couldn't decide if it was going to be summer or color, but we'll go with color. And you're going to text her that word, and then she'll know to get you that freebie. She's going to send you your eye color look in the mail. And then don't miss out on tomorrow's freebie because it's Thursday. Yay! You don't want to miss it because it's going to be juicy, and you want to make sure that you get it. All right, Steph, any closing thoughts, words?
Go forth, play around. Know that the first time you do it, it might not work, but it's worth figuring out because we want you to just absolutely love the skin that you're in.
Yes, definitely gain confidence through giving it a try. So, all right, you guys. Well, that's it. We'll see you soon.
Have a
Bye.
great day.